You're always trying to get closer to wildlife by approaching them, but every time you do, the wildlife flee or move away from you. One simple mindset shift could really unlock the ability to get those frame-filling shots that you're after. Hello everybody, welcome back to Tips Tuesday. I'm back again out in the little pond surrounded by forest, and today I want to expand on a topic that I touched on in last week's Tips Tuesday video. So last week we discussed a simple 30-second approach to help you improve your compositions by looking at where the lighting's coming from, looking at the background, looking at the wildlife behavior in front of you. And one thing I hit on was positioning yourself before any wildlife actually was at that location. So in this episode, I want to expand on that topic with the idea of stop chasing wildlife to try to get closer to them. Every time you move, every time you try to approach an animal, it sends signals to them. And they interpret those signals and interpret your movement and try to decide, is it safe? Should I flee? Should I move around? Should I try to go around this thing that's coming towards me? And most of the time, if you're moving, it's going to signal the animal to flee. So instead, the simple mindset shift is, rather than thinking that you need to approach the animal yourself, instead flip it backwards. Instead, make it so that the animal approaches you on their own terms. Now, I know that sounds like it's going to be something that's going to be really hard to do, but actually it's much easier than you'd anticipate. And it starts with finding a location where wildlife are likely to be. So that comes down to understanding what an animal is eating, finding a water source, finding a spot where they're nesting, where they're likely to pass through. Whatever the case may be, it's very species specific. But there's a lot of locations that a lot of animals will converge to. Water is an easy example. So by setting yourself up near that source of water or by that source of food, you know that there's a good chance of an animal coming to that location. So that's step number one, right? Figuring out where to set up. Number two is to become part of the environment once you're there and once you set yourself up. Now that doesn't mean putting on a whole bunch of camouflage and hiding out. You can, it works really well in most cases. But for me, I just in kind of earth-colored clothing, sitting up and just kind of sitting down, kneeling, laying down on the ground does wonders for decreasing your profile in an environment, especially in a more open area like a stream bank, a pond. Grasslands is a really good example. By getting down low, sitting, kneeling, laying down prone, you decrease your profile, decrease your presence in that habitat, and the animals are much more likely to come closer to you. Another key thing is to try to set up when there's no actual animal activity at that location. Now again, that's another mindset shift of a lot of folks see an area where there's no wildlife and they think, oh, I'm just going to move on to try to find the animals. Instead, setting up when there's no animals there increases your chances of actually having successful encounters because your approach isn't going to cause everything to leave that location. It's especially important for shorebirds, waterfowl. If you try to approach a pond where there's waterfowl there and then you scare that waterfowl as you're approaching, it's going to take a lot longer for those ducks to actually come back to that pond. Now, what if you're trying to approach and there is wildlife there? Well, the best thing is to approach during natural distraction moments for the animal. So if the animal is feeding, putting their head down, that's a good time to try to move closer. In the instance of diving ducks, if the duck dives down under the water, that's a good time to approach because they're not going to know where you are. And what you can do is approach a few steps, wait for the duck to emerge again, and then wait for the duck to go back under before you approach again. So you can kind of do this stepwise fashion. Another good thing you can do to decrease your sound as you're approaching is to move when planes are flying over. Unfortunately, this area has a lot of plane activity, but you can really use that plane activity, that engine noise, to drown out a lot of your footsteps if you're worried that your sound is going to scare off the animals. The key thing is to be alert to how that animal's responding to you approaching. If they start to get alert, if they start to look stressed out, stop, sit down, wait for that animal to look more relaxed. You don't want to approach an animal that's already stressed out because that's going to increase the chances that that animal is going to flee. And again, this is why it's best to approach and set up in an area when there's actually no activity there. Now today, as an example, I was down here again to photograph the solitary sandpipers that were in this area. Now when I first came down, there was actually 3 sandpipers foraging along the edges of this pond. Now luckily for me, they're all on the far side of the pond when I first came down here. So what I did was I sat myself up went down to the rocky banks down here and got into a position that I wanted to be in while the birds were far enough away. Now, as luck would have it, as I set up, one of the birds came and flew over to this side of the bank over here. So they were already much closer to me and I didn't approach them at all. Then with a little patience and waiting, watching what the animal was doing, the solitary sandpiper started to move and forage the banks closer towards me, and they actually approached right up to me. And the important thing is they approached on their own terms. I was sitting still, I wasn't moving, and they decided that I was safe enough to approach and move closer towards me. And you'll note that I'm not wearing any camouflage when this bird approaches me. Now, there was a moment when the bird actually came so close to me, I was zooming out with my 50 to 200 millimeter lens, and that's how close the bird was at that point, and the bird decided to fly off a little bit and kind of hop over me. But yet they didn't fly and flee the entire pond. Instead, they just moved away from me just a little bit because they didn't want to get that close to me, which I was happy with. And this is how I've gotten some of my closest and best encounters with wildlife, no matter what the species is. By sitting, waiting, being patient, knowing that, this location is likely going to have wildlife come to it. Sure, there's a lot of times where maybe you might not have any activity in front of you, but being patient, giving yourself enough time at each location will really allow the animals the best chance to come close to you and allow you to have the best encounters and the closest encounters if you're looking for those frame-filling images. So instead of thinking, how can I approach this animal to get closer to it? Instead think, how can I make myself less of a disturbance so that the animal will approach towards me? I guarantee it's going to allow you to have some better opportunities and get some better photos of the wildlife around you. So that's it for this Tips Tuesday. Thank you so much for watching. And I do want to mention as well that I have bird photography walks and experiences. I have released the new dates for the end of August. I have 3 different offerings, one in the forest habitat, one in the grassland habitat, and one down along the coast. So if you live in Connecticut or in the area, be sure to check those out. I have a link down below in the description. I now am also offering image review services. So if you're struggling, trying to figure out how you can improve your images, what you can do is you can submit some images to me. I look them over, review them, give you actionable feedback on how you can improve. No harsh criticism, nothing like that. All of the feedback you'll get is in the desire of helping you improve and get the images that you actually want. So I have information down below in the description for that as well. Otherwise, that is it, and I will see you again in the next Tips Tuesday.